What is up, BMP Army?
I had this thing where I was going to like cut you off and be stupid. I have something to say. That totally threw me off.
BMP Army.
There's like 6 of them. I think that's a squad.
Yeah. What is up, BMP squad?
That's.
I'll stop.
No, it's funny. What do you got for me?
I got some questions for you
Let's
today.
Let's get into it.
Do you have some documentation, or should we rip questions?
I do. I prepared a little bit of document control.
Okay.
What color are you?
I'm black.
You be black. Okay.
That's funny. Okay.
You put it on camera 4. There you go.
I switch them back and forth.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty
All right.
skilled.
You're starting it, so you could do your thing.
Crypto croutons.
Putin's poodle.
Pasta portal.
Dinosaur divorce.
TikTok Torah.
Quantum queso.
Mormon minotaurs.
Budget Botox.
NASA nachos.
Tupac Tuesdays.
Flatulent fororas.
Waffle warfare.
Plasma pyramids.
Broccoli bankers.
Lizard lift.
Space Jam lawsuit.
Vatican Velcro.
Glitch goblins.
Haunted quesadillas.
Timeshare Templars.
Clone cones.
Gucci goosebumps.
Brain bubbles.
Illuminati.
Zuckerberg zip lines.
Chili cults.
Reptile realtors.
Reverse rodeos.
Pineapple psyops.
Freckled Freemasons.
This is
Brothers McGowan.
Space Jam lawsuit.
Chili cults, dude.
What the hell is the word after flatulent?
Where
The PH word.
Pharaohs.
Oh, God, I was being an idiot.
Well, this was totally designed to try to get us to.
Got me.
Yeah.
Flatulent.
Haunted quesadilla. All right.
Haunted printers.
I'm 40.
Yeah, you're getting up there.
No, I was just referring to saying stupid stuff.
Okay.
And it's funny. I got nothing. What do you got?
I got a question for you. Why'd you name KSC? Why'd you name it KingStud Contracting?
Well, one, a buddy actually was spitballing names, and he came up with it. And I was
That's
choosing out of a bunch. And I've always had a thought process with, well, I was in bands all the time. And I remember how hard it was to come up with a band name. And then after a while, I realized all the best bands, it's not the name that makes the band, it's the band that makes the name.
Yep.
So it really didn't matter. So beyond that, there was like a marketing aspect to it. And if you are a business who is non-existent, one angle you could use is a name that stands out for whatever reason. And KingStud Contracting. KingStud is a framing term. It's a part of framing. So it's like people that knew what a king stud was would think it's clever, and the people that didn't would either think it was funny or douchey or loud or whatever. Regardless, they would remember it. So it was, one, I didn't care because I knew that I would make the name. And two, if it stands out a little bit, it will help you with people recognizing it and noticing it.
Yes, and it's definitely stuck out. I've had multiple people tell me about KingStud. Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
Which, side question, yeah, when you make a band, you make the name first, or you make the music first?
Well, for any band that I was in, it was music first, and then it was just this big fight trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And everybody just had just ridiculous names.
Some metal band names can get pretty cringy pretty quick if they weren't really good.
Well, just name a bunch of bands that you like, and let's talk about if you heard that for the first time. Metallica.
Yeah, no, it's an
made
original
up
word.
It's a made up name, and if you told me that and I didn't know what it was, I'd be like, that's stupid. What is that?
Yeah,
Poison.
no, it's rad.
Motley Crue.
Motley Crue is a fun one. That in the movie they talk about how they made that name. Well, that's a good one. People always ask me if my name is based off the movie, and at the time when I first started, I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
What movie?
The Fifth Element.
Oh. That was my first thought, but I immediately knew what you were talking about when it was.
Yeah.
It looks like an element, so.
Yeah,
Like
and I
periodic
made
table.
the logo after I had the name already for like 7 months. I didn't even have a logo in the beginning.
I think you're better off having a name that stands out. You know, there's a lot of.
Yeah.
This is a two-parter thing for me though. Like a lot of construction companies are pretty basic. It'll be like the last name, like it could have been McGowan
like
Construction
or 3 letters or something.
Bowmel Construction, which there was 2 guys, and they mashed up their 2 last names.
Mm-hmm.
Or there's a lot of like CDM Construction or just initials,
That's
and you don't stand out. In the beginning, you need to stand out, but later, see, now I'm fighting.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if my name matches where we're at anymore, but I'm never going to change it. I can't.
I don't think I would change it if I were you. I think it's a good one.
I'm not, because again, it's your output that makes the name, and nobody cares. I don't think. No one's going to not hire me if they hear the reputation and that's good, even if they think the name is stupid. It's not like they're going to not hire me based on a name they think is stupid.
Okay, follow-up question. What's one thing you would tell someone who wants to start their own commercial construction company, or that's just getting started?
Well, I think I would ask them questions first to find out if they're ready for the...
Well, if you could just give out a piece of advice, like maybe they're not right in front of you, but maybe you're recording a video or something, just one piece of advice you'd give to people getting started in their journey, or that are still very early in their journey as a GC.
Do what you say you're going to do.
It's a good
Over
one.
communication, and do what you say you're going to do. And don't write checks your mouth can't cash.
That's a good one.
I said that wrong. But you get the point.
Yeah. It's all the same thing. It's like reliability is a very large thing in any business, but especially in yours where there's so many variables, and schedules are very volatile and literally change on the hour.
Yeah, there's
traffic.
Being
There's so
ready
many
to
things.
pivot. I don't know. I think the biggest things are communication, follow through, and being ready to pivot. And you really can't break that down into one sentence or one bit of advice.
That's why the question's so difficult.
Yeah.
Follow up. What's one thing? This one's kind of hard. What's one thing you wish you could hear from a GC or someone in your shoes that is at the level that you want to be? Maybe it's a company that's already doing 100 million annually, and you could hear one piece of advice from them. What do you think you would want to hear?
How to get the attention of the clientele I want to be working for. How do you get noticed by the people you want to work for and with? Because everything comes down to basically getting your phone to ring or getting emails in your inbox, getting the attention of the next level of clientele where you want to be. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but
let's break that down for a second. Actually, think about businesses that are very hard to market, or it's very hard to reach a customer.
Yeah.
One that comes to my mind other than construction is like people who sell life insurance. Everybody has it, so it's different because your target audience is bigger, but you can't just like run an ad for life insurance. That's one that I think about. It's very hard. I can't just call you multiple times, or like realtors, real estate people. There's a million realtors. There's a million GCs. Let's start there, because I have some ideas for you. Think about businesses that, you can't just run an ad on Instagram or something and get the client. What are a few others you'd think?
A few other what?
Businesses that are like that where the audience is just hard to reach, or you can't just market and get the customer. It's like,
well, I think it's any flooded market, any market where there's a ton of people. Like there's a ton of nurses. There's a ton of, well, that's about it. No, I'm kidding.
Well, maybe I think let's identify that then first. Things that are very niche, like going to.
I'm thinking about it from a different angle, because I think I know what I need to do because I've been doing it for a while. I don't think.
But I identify those industries or like jobs real quick, because I have some ideas for you here.
Okay, so it would be. I don't
So the
spend a lot of
same
time
way
thinking
that
about
you, and correct me if I'm wrong, the same way that you feel you maybe have some fogginess or just not as much clarity around the idea of being able to market. And like the question you just had, how do I reach those people or get in the room with those people to build that like sales engine? How do you even get to that level? Because it's not just going to happen organically. There's definitely a way to get there. What are other businesses that you think have the same challenge?
Probably gyms. There's a ton of those now, little niche gyms. Any private, like...
Are you talking about gyms trying to get members?
I'm thinking in terms of like you made a new business, a new brand, a new model, and you're trying to stand out, right? Or it would be equivalent to say like trying to start a new fast food chain that is going to compete with Carl's Jr., McDonald's, Jack in the Box, whatever, and get in that space to be considered one of those.
So my goal,
that's how I'm thinking.
My goal here is to figure out, because it's kind of like an exercise for me being a professional in marketing, to try to figure out how to help you simplify the idea that it's actually a lot easier for you to get those customers or reach those clients.
Let me tell you where my head's at with it.
Because
I say that because I think I know one of the steps, and it's relationships. You need to build relationships with people. I don't think so. The people that would basically grant me the opportunity to work with and for brands and people,
the decision maker.
Yeah, the decision makers at these companies or groups that I'm referring to, they're not people that are going to respond to an ad. They don't care about that. The people in those positions are probably going off of personal relationships with other people that are in the trenches, so to speak. So if, let's say I wanted to be the next guy to build Walmarts or Home Depots or whatever, I'm not getting to those guys.
No, they're hiring within their network.
It's within their network. So you have to find out who's in that network and keep going down the ladder and figure out a way you can get to each person who may tell the next rung on the ladder. So I think that is how you do it. But getting noticed by those people is, I don't think so there is
your question, if you could get it answered, because you feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, if you had the answer to this, you probably feel like overnight or just over the next few years, you could rapidly grow if that was solved. Because to me, that's what sounds like the biggest challenge for you right now is, right? Did that make sense?
Yeah.
So I just did this whole exercise with Fifth Element, and I kind of want to challenge myself in helping you there. Essentially, what's going on is you don't have a funnel. And when I talk about a funnel, some people think that's like a very small. I'm talking top.
Yeah.
A funnel is like your entire business from the top of the funnel, quite literally being the top. Where do your clients and customers even come from?
Yeah.
The very bottom of the funnel is onboarding and delivery, which you're fantastic at. You bring people in, they're super excited to work with you, and you deliver every time. The middle stages in the funnel, though, are marketing, selling, actually getting them to come in, actually having a legitimate sales process.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong again. I don't think you have an actual sales process. I think you're just fantastic at talking to people. And the reason you close so many of them is because the people you're talking to are people that were referred to you or are already somehow connected to you in a network.
Yeah.
You've probably never got on which I know it doesn't really happen in construction, but you've probably never really been in a scenario where you're just like pitching to someone, which you're almost in your head probably thinking, well, that doesn't happen, but I feel like it might. And something I talked about with my team is every funnel can have a different amount of stages and steps from finding a brand new lead. They just hear about your company for the very first time they ever read the word KingStud, all the way down to they're now working with you and paying you. That's a different size for every company. But at Fifth Element and at KingStud, we're really great at the final stage, and we also only have ever done the final stage. If you think about it, we've only ever done delivery and onboarding. Yeah,
because the people that are reaching out are already 50% sold or interested based on what they heard.
They don't have to go through the sales process.
Yeah.
So what I want to do for you, because we're actively doing it for ourselves, how good would you feel knowing that your entire funnel's working? Like you wake up and you know that your company's constantly acquiring new leads, new contacts, your network's growing, so that you can sleep easy, because then at that point you could project, we're going to do this much this year, next year. Because I truly think, I do believe it's difficult. I truly think that you can build a funnel or a kind of sales engine to constantly bring you that business. no matter what business you're in.
Yeah.
And I want to pick the gym one for a second because you thought that was difficult. And in my mind, it's 100% clear. I believe I could launch a gym tomorrow. So if you want to go through that, or you just want to go straight into KingStud.
Either one.
Alex Hormozy says there's only a few things to do for the top of the funnel. You either run more paid advertisements, so you spend more money on paid ads, you're spending zero, or you create more content, and that's time, so you put hours in a day. The third option is outbound. That's what he calls it, and that's just networking and connecting with people. I think, like you said, it is a little challenging. You can't just run ads and get leads, but what you can do is you can make tons and tons of content, not just for your social media, but for your website. And then you or someone at KingStud can do tons and tons of outbound. And I think that's the key for you.
What are you considering the outbound?
So outbound is a representative from your company on LinkedIn or someone logged in as you on LinkedIn every single day, messaging people in the network, finding people in the network. I think you should also have an entire email journey set up, which we can talk about that more off air. People can do their own research as to what that is. But now you're on HubSpot. Even if someone's not going to work for you, your sales journey is way larger than a business like mine or a gym.
Yeah.
You could find a gym and they could sell you the same day.
Yeah.
Someone's going to find you and they might not work with you for 5 years.
Yep.
But like a real estate agent or a life insurance agent, you need to be popping in their head here and there constantly. Yep. So you need a way to constantly be checking in on them, which the easiest one is like an email or a text or a handwritten letter.
I used to have a system for that when it was just me doing everything, and now it's grown too much to where I can't even follow up.
Yeah. So imagine, let's say we don't even talk about paid advertisements because that just takes too long. Let's talk about the outbound and the content. I think if you just dedicated X amount of hours per week towards making content, which content could be incredibly easy. Highlight all the jobs you already do now. You already do that. But no one's really breaking down the job and no one's providing credibility or value. When it came time to hire a contractor, people can go on your website and see your resume and your testimonials, but they're not seeing like the ins and outs of the business.
Right.
You could easily get on and just walk someone through a job, walk someone through this issue happened and here's how we handled it. Or just talk about, that's why I asked at the very beginning, why did you call it KingStud? What's one piece of information you'd give? Like those are valuable things people want to hear.
Yeah. Because
it's going to give more credibility.
Yeah.
And then this is going to sound crazy too, but you should constantly give out free value. So you just hired an estimator. Why don't you pick his brain once you're comfortable with it? He could even make some content or just write some stuff for you about how he bids jobs.
Yeah.
Because no one's going to listen to all this content and say, oh, I'm going to steal all of KingStud's clients. Or
right.
I'm going to
I'm not worried about that.
It's really the people that are interested in working in you are going to land on your Instagram. And if in the first 2 minutes of them finding out about your existence, hear 5 things that go, wow, this guy really knows what he's talking about. That right there is like, you're already planting the seed a little bit. But then let's talk about the outbound stuff for a second. I think you should genuinely look into having someone just do nonstop outbound work for you and content. They come in your office, film content of you.
Sí, claro.
The outbound stuff, they should be logged into your LinkedIn, and you should set an amount of connections every day. They should connect with, this is what I'm doing right now. Someone on my team's logged into my LinkedIn. They're connecting with 30 people a day, and every time they connect with them, they send them a message.
Yeah.
And they're not just connecting with random people. It's all people in the franchise industry, like the whole franchise space.
Your targets.
Yeah, and we have pre-written messages, and we categorize them into, can I get business from this person directly? Will they pay me? Or can they connect me with someone that can do business? The people that I can get money from, there's a different script. The people that I can't get money from, but they could connect me with people, I just say something like, would love to be a resource for you.
Yeah.
If you had someone doing that nonstop and then following up with people and then like seeing when they have achievements, it sounds vague, but I think that's the beginning of your engine right there.
It's not vague. No, that is how it starts. It's always some personal connection.
Yeah, you need someone doing that. And then another thing is, last episode you talked about the people you're hiring, which is fantastic because it's going to free up more of your time. If I were you and your business part of outbound is you going to these events and rubbing elbows with people. All of these people that you do business with directly or indirectly, Exponential's an old idea. These people in the franchise
Wait
space.
a minute, buddy.
These people, just people like that, these franchise brands, parent brands, those people at those companies are constantly going to events and stuff, or having dinner with people nonstop.
Yeah, they are.
And it just takes you a couple things, like a couple times to bump into them. But essentially you need someone to make contacts for you, because imagine how often do you sit down and like try to contact a new person like you've never met before and try to do business with them?
Well, it used to be often when I had more time and there wasn't an overload of work. So it was like I had these systems in my head.
Yeah.
And I would do certain things to generate, and it worked.
Exactly.
Now it's to the point where I'm like, okay, there's so much work, I don't have time to do that.
Exactly.
Therefore, I'm hiring, expanding, training.
You're focusing
on
the defense, and now, like you said,
now I'm trying to catch it up at the same speed and find out, okay, this system works, and it's gotten to the point where there's too much work and not enough people. So I'll get the people up to the amount of work that's here, but now I need to catch a rhythm to go. I need to hire this many people as this many projects or revenue comes in to keep up with it, so that I can maintain doing the outbound and, rubbing the elbows. And
imagine
all that
if you had one person doing 8 hours a day of that. Like, I don't know what she does, but if you had another person, like another Chrissy or something doing that.
Yep.
Also, I'd like to challenge you. Remember that job you got, Dark Horse Coffee? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
You said they found you on Instagram.
They did. Yeah.
How do you know there aren't? There's tons of people out there that could potentially be doing the same thing.
Well, there has been a handful that have legitimately found me on Instagram. And there's a ton of value with Instagram, because that's one of the first places this new generation looks for, basically a like a portfolio, or just to find out about you. So it usually starts there. So even if
we call it like your digital doorstep. Like it's your front.
So even if it started with a friend told another friend who was going to build something, hey, you should check out these guys. They usually start with Instagram, then travel to the website, then make a call.
Yeah. And
or an email.
How many people do you think are checking it? It really only takes one, because both of our businesses, we don't need 1 million followers. You don't even need like 5,000 followers. Also, when it comes to paid advertising, it might take you $5,000 a month in ad spend, or 10,000. Imagine if you get one job, it's instantly paid for 100-fold.
I'm not opposed to it. I just hadn't done it.
Yeah, I would challenge you to consider that, because your advertisements don't just, and this is good for everybody to know, when you run paid ads, they don't just go to anyone in the world.
Right.
They go to exactly who you want them to go to. So there are very niche businesses that run paid ads, and it goes exactly to who it's supposed to go to. How
do you curate, if you will, who it goes to? Are you in control of those filters?
Yes. So let's talk about that for a second, because I want to convince you by the end of this episode.
I'm not unconvinced. I just haven't done it.
It's very specific.
Yeah.
But
you need to know who to go after to make those adjustments, right? See, this is a gray area where I don't know the answer to.
This is what we help people do.
So I think it's easier to find a pro to fill up a suite, or a member to go to a gym, than it is to find a franchisee who's like, I'm building 10 of X.
Potentially, because there's a ton of companies out there. There's a ton of companies out there that are built for their client is the franchisee.
Right.
They're a consultant. They're an accountant. They are a marketing firm like us that find the exact same people that you are looking for.
Right.
So it's actually 100% doable. And here's how you do it. Yes, there are literal, let's take a step back. You run ads in an ad account. An ad account is simply just an account. And it's almost like I always say it's like sitting in the cockpit of an airplane. You do a lot of things. You just have to know what buttons to push and levers to pull and stuff like that. It's a lot easier than people think to define who you're going after. It used to be you have to set all the interests, demographics, age, where they live, all these things. Now you really don't have to do any of that. And it's all in the creative. So what that means, the creative is the ad itself, the video or photo or asset that's playing on the person's feed.
Yeah.
These ad accounts like Meta, Google ad accounts, TikTok ad accounts, you don't even need to attempt to understand how smart they are. Because when you run an ad, it doesn't matter for what business, within the first 1 to 2 weeks, it understands what kind of person is interested in your content. So it's up to you to make content that explains what you do clear enough, which is hyper easy. And let me give you an example to understand it better. We work with a lot of salon suite owners at image studios. Their target audience is niche. It's beauty professionals that are licensed, that make a decent amount of money and want something better for their business. So it really chops it down.
Right.
And it's anytime you do B2B advertising, business to business, you're looking for other businesses to make money off of. You're instantly cutting down your audience significantly rather than just going after a bunch of consumers. But for them, they do stuff like one of the salon suite owners will say, hey man, I only have 2 suites left and they're both aesthetic suites, meaning they're only meant for estheticians. We don't go in the ad account and say people that are interested in aesthetics or medical aesthetic stuff like that. All we do is on the creative itself, like the video that's running, is we literally write on the video salon suites for estheticians.
Yeah.
That alone.
And it starts learning and figuring out who the targeted audience is or whatever.
Yes, because guess who interacts with the ad now? Hairstylists see it and go, oh,
next.
Yeah, it's not for me.
Yeah.
It's as easy as you making ads.
So it's the content.
It's all the content.
It's the content.
And it's so much easier than people think. Yeah. And it's the other great thing about paid advertisements is you don't need to set that and let it run for 6 months before you know it works. You'll know, especially if you're working with someone that's done it for a while like us, we know in the first week.
Yeah.
Like we can see it day to day. And if it's also not something you commit a chunk of money to, it's spending your money daily.
Trial and error. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you can stop it at any time. Anyway, what I'm getting at is I think there is room for you to do paid advertising. And I think if you made a lot more content and seriously considered having someone doing all your outbound, constantly emailing, writing letters, LinkedIn, just saying, hey, we're happy to be a resource. We just exist. That's the first step in your engine. And I genuinely think you could build an audience or a clientele. I think you could build an actual sales engine and actually grow a lot faster than you think.
Well, by the way, that's the whole point of this whole thing.
Yeah.
So when I did my last, well, not my last, but one of the last coaching calls where I had my aha moment, it was, okay, I'm working on defense, preparing for that, because what I don't want to happen is the same position I'm in now, where
too much to handle.
It's great to say, I have too much work. Mm-hmm. The goal isn't, well, I mean, I guess the goal is always to continue to have too much work, but to figure out how to capture it all and still maintain the quality.
And still grow.
What's bothered me over the past 18 months is I've grown as fast as I wanted to, but probably didn't really believe I was going to. So I wasn't prepared for it.
Yeah.
So I'm always underpowered, undermanned. And I want to find that happy balance where I'm always hiring a little bit more than I need and stay above that.
Yeah, the goal is
so
to
that execution
scale.
Is perfect.
The goal is to scale offense and defense at the same pace.
Right.
But never stagnant.
So right now I'm catching it up so that we can. What got me to the dance was who I am, what I'm about. I truly care about it all. I truly care about the businesses. I want to see them thrive. Communication is like this really big deal to me. And what I mean by that is like the frequency, the quickness in which people get responses and answers, and them knowing the schedule, them knowing the problems and solutions, and staying on top of that, going above and beyond in that category, because that's where a lot of other contractors fail, and being accountable. So all those things that I did that got me here are suffering now because there's not enough there's not enough me's to do the level of quality that I want for my brand to show, if that makes sense. So I've stopped going, give me more, and go, I'm going to take everything that I have and continue it. But I want everything else and everyone else around me to rise to the level that I demand for my company.
Yeah. And
then be prepared to 10X that from there. So the rest of this year was about that defense, knowing that we can turn all of that on and continue to grow. But I want to grow without losing quality, and I want to bring the quality back up.
So that's part of the funnel, and I'm going to keep yapping about that for a second, because your whole funnel should be like growing at the same time. So it's like the bottom of the funnel is the onboarding and delivery. Delivery for you is project man. So like for us, delivery is our client success managers. People talk to clients, everything you just talked about, communicating properly, making sure everything's timely. For you, that would be like a team of project managers.
Yep.
Right. And then for actual delivery, it would be exactly what you already have. People out in the field doing a phenomenal job, a superintendent. I think everything is a lot more similar than it seems.
Oh,
you just have to figure out your top of funnel, like your sales engine.
Right.
I'm going to turn that camera back on, but I want to keep talking about this because I have some.
So I am confident in a sales engine. And when I first signed up for the coaching, what I had in mind for that was the sales engine. I was thinking, okay, how do we get more?
Yeah.
So that was the reason I went into it. But then I slowly realized, well, wait a minute. You're already having issues right now with the amount of people and jobs coming in.
Yeah.
Let's go the other way with it.
You got to play defense
and set up for success. Because the last thing I want to do is continue growth without the right team being in place. So
you gotta grow offense and defense at the same time.
But I need to catch the defense up.
Yeah.
And part of this is I already have some things in the works, and I've been networking and building relationships and bringing in more work, if you will. Mm-hmm. And I am confident that will work. But the only reason why I haven't put more thought or resources into the sales engine is because I know what's going to happen, and I want to be prepared.
Yeah. Well, let's assume what gets you more excited though.
I love all of it.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to do the right thing right now because
I've
always been about just blindly going, let's go after it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it.
Yeah.
And reputation is the best and worst thing.
Yeah.
It's like I used to tell, well, I still tell people, it only takes one person. You don't know who you're going to meet. Yeah, but both ways, right? Yeah. So I'm like, you always need to be polite. You always need to be on your A game. You always need help them out of their car. Help, a neighbor, whatever. You just don't know who you're going to run into on a job or on the way to a job. Any one of those people may have the key to the next 10 years of your work, and you just don't know who it is. So you need to be your best at all times. End of story. Because any one of those people can branch out, and you could have a whole life based on one relationship. But the same goes for bad reputation. So the busier you get, if your team isn't set up and you don't have systems set up to take care of everybody and every potential problem that can happen, because it's filled with problems and pivoting, that could sink the whole ship too. So now I'm like, all right, before we spread too thin, build this perfectly, get all the right players, get all the right systems, all the right checks and balances in place, because going after more is going to work.
Yeah.
And I don't want to have that one bad reputation or that one bad job or that one person do something wrong that can sink the whole ship.
I got something cooking for you right now.
I could see that. Fire fingers.
Yes, I'm going fast on this.
Ooh, I got a potty.
Do you?
Yeah.
You can potty.
Can you fill in?
Yeah, I'm done. I'll talk to them about this. So something I do. Let's hey, guess what? I just summed up your whole business. I'm serious. Listen to this.
I will when I get back.
Okay. I'll tell you guys. Anthony's business is when we're looking at sales is high ticket, low frequency with long sales cycles. And it's all B2B work. So something I do that you should take for anyone who's listening to this, that's a business owner or just anything in your life, you should really use AI a lot more if you're not right now. And if you're not getting what you need out of it, you're not giving it correct prompts, because it can give you a lot of value. There are literal prompt engineers that figure out how to get the most out of AI, and they get paid for it. Anyway, one of the things that I do to get the most out of AI is I identify someone. Well, here's an example to explain it better. A lot of my questions are about marketing and my business. So when I go to ask it a question, I tell ChatGPT, I say, you are Alex Hormozy. And then I ask it that question. Okay, ready? You excited? Smells like Up Dog.
Smells like a lunchbox in here. Why?
Smells like Up Dog.
Up Dog.
Smells like Up Dog.
Smells like well, you probably never had them because you lived a privileged life, but like old school lunchboxes,
like the tins.
Yeah, I don't know why. It just smells like
I
someone
had
made a
the
sandwich
same
in
lunch
here.
as you guys had. What do you mean?
No, it was different.
Tang was pretty good. All right, I summed your business up.
Okay, let's go.
Your business is a high ticket, low frequency, long sales cycle B2B business. That sound pretty good?
Sauna. Yeah, that's
like summed up,
that's
right?
fair. Yeah, that's fair.
So this is what I did for Fifth Element. You know, we know Alex Hormozy.
Yeah,
Master.
he's my guy. We're friends.
Yep.
We hung out.
Master of marketing any business. Not just marketing them, but just business in general. So I said, build me the funnel. You are Alex Hormozy. Build me the funnel for KingStud Contracting.
Okay.
Stage 1.
Cold plunge.
Ready?
Yeah.
I'll send this to you after too. The
Okay.
commercial construction funnel, stage 1, so top of the funnel. Get on their radar. You need attention.
Yeah.
The goal is not leads. The goal is omnipresence in the decision maker's mind before they're ready to build.
Yeah.
Tactics. You should be posting 3 times a week on LinkedIn, not only on KingStud's page, but your personal profile. And there's some topics for you. Some examples. What's changing in 2025 commercial build codes. Most common $250,000 mistakes owners make in pre-construction. If I were building a 7-figure gym or restaurant in, and then it says city, here's what I would do. Feature, I'll just send this to you so you can read it.
Right.
Tools, use LinkedIn, and then some kind of CRM. You already have one. You have HubSpot. That's great. The other thing it says you should be doing is a weekly newsletter to developers, architects, business owners, and anyone in the franchise space. And you should be doing long form and short form video content every week. Super easy. Record one long form. So a 5-minute long form is anything over like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Long form video a week for YouTube. And then use clips from that for LinkedIn, Instagram. Those are just what you did with Nathan. But instead of just coming up with quips, come up with the long form thing first and then break it apart.
Right.
Because then he can use it in Reels. He can put it on your LinkedIn, and he could put it in newsletters. Your newsletter can be ran by one person. Super easy. But yeah, get on their radar. Stage 2, lead magnet. So this is build the list. It says offer value that positions your brother. Oh, offer value that positions you.
I actually could do that for you, though.
Offer value that positions you as the guy, even before the RFP. I'm not sure what RFP is.
RFB or P?
RFP.
Request for proposal.
There it is. Lead magnets. Okay, so this is what we're doing in Fifth Element. So your lead magnet, it's saying, is the 2025 commercial construction cost guide for, and then region, Temecula or California. 12 questions to ask before you choose a GC. Real budget breakdown per square foot for a restaurant we built in 2024. Let me give you some better examples. For Fifth Element, what we're doing is, ours is predominantly paid advertising.
Right.
And then we have a landing page. They click on the ad, it goes to the landing page. It's not just book a call with us because people are like, we don't even know who you are. Ours is a marketing audit. So it's a franchise marketing audit. And it says, take this quiz. And it's like 5 questions. And then based on their answers, it then gives them a report. And it says, based on this, here's how you score compared to our current clients, or whatever. And it's giving them value.
Oh, right.
And it's going to be like pre-made materials. Because if you just say, give me your they're like, dude, I don't even know who you are. And I'm not even building a restaurant, or I'm not even, you know what I mean?
made a form kind of like that already.
So that's fantastic.
But I send it to them after they've reached out.
Yes.
I need a landing page.
That's what dude, let's talk about that either in this or another time, because we are building a ton right now for people. But the lead magnet is value. It's an actual offer. So it literally says offer value that positions you as the guy, the person who has all the information. The call to action is download the guide. No sales pitch. Just what we wish every developer knew before they call us, or every person knew before they call us. And then
trail of breadcrumbs into your house.
When they click download, it asks them for their email and phone number, because what happens is they give the email and then HubSpot instantly emails them with the PDF.
Right.
They are now in your CRM. Stage 3, pipeline. You don't wait for them. You go get them. Your outbound list is, and you could probably add to this, commercial brokers, architects, franchise development groups or reps, property developers, business owners expanding multiple locations. Outreach tactics. Ooh, I love this one. Have you ever heard of Loom?
I've heard of Loom.
Loom is a screen recording software. Just makes videos really quick on your laptop, and it puts your face on it, so you can do your face the whole screen.
I've never used it, but yeah, I get it.
Outreach tactics. Personalized Loom videos. Send 20 to 50 a week. In the video, it's a quote. Saw you guys open a new location last year. If you ever want to compare bids or get insights, I'll send a cost guide over. LinkedIn DMs plus cold emails. This is what I was telling you. In the email or in the DM. You probably get hit up by contractors all the time. I'm not here to sell. Just wanted to send over our pre-construction checklist we give to owners. If it's helpful, great. We're happy to be a resource.
I could probably make that better too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy to be a resource. Stage 4, nurture and close. Stay top of mind.
Ooh, I'm good at that.
Yeah. So the farther into the funnel, the better you are at these. Nurture and close. Once they're in the pipeline, the real game begins. Most commercial jobs close in 6 to 18 months. Is that true?
I mean, it depends on the size, but no. I mean, probably 90 days is a good average for most commercial build-outs. If they're ground up, yes.
Even better then.
Could be.
Add every lead to a long-term nurture flow. So this is like a newsletter, stuff like that, a drip. Monthly cost update emails. That's so easy. Your estimator can do this for you.
Yeah.
Like we talked about a few episodes ago, they're probably going to have a radar of like how much materials cost.
Yeah. Yeah.
Easy. Quarterly market trend reports. Easy. He could do that too. This is like simple stuff you could build off Chat GPT. It doesn't have to be like crazy broken down.
You're just sharing information.
Mm-hmm. Progress videos of current jobs. What we're building this month. Invite them to jobs. Okay, I don't know about this one.
Yeah, that's weird.
Invite them to job site walkthroughs. Probably not. Automated CRM workflows. Use HubSpot. If someone downloads a guide, they're on a 90-day drip campaign. If they open 3 or more emails, mark as, I forgot what SQL stands for, but mark, you know what SQL is? Probably something I should know. It's probably marketing. And set up an outbound follow-up call. Stage 5, authority play. Dominate the market. We build category control over time. Assets to build. Podcast or YouTube show. It's what we're doing, baby. Project highlights. You need a landing page with before, after, budgets, timing, testimonials. Media kit PDF for brokers, landlords, or developers.
Yeah, I like that.
Hormozy bonus. What is this? Pike stack offer. Never heard of that. If you want to flip the script and make them come to him, this is in quotes. We've got a slot opening in Q4 for one more ground up or TI project under $5 million.
Urgency.
If you want pricing, transparency, speed, and a builder who treats your timeline like it's ours, we'll run your pre-construction process for free if it's a fit.
See, I do that, and I do tell certain people that, but telling everybody that is a great point.
Build exclusivity, use deadlines, stack the offer. So I think there was a few things that felt a little out of line, but I think there's a lot of great things in there.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff in there.
And
what a good prompt.
Yeah. What I was telling them when you went to the restroom is tell chat who to be.
Right.
Say, you're Patrick Bet David, write me a business plan.
Right.
You're Alex Hormozy, build me a marketing funnel. And I did this for Fifth Element Art, and I did it for like over an hour.
Did you use the prompts that I sent you from, who's that guy? That other guy?
No.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
But it's basically that.
Yeah, prompt engineer.
Tell it who to be, how to be, whatever, and it's amazing. It does so much more for your GPTing.
I think there's I think that alone could do so much for you.
Absolutely.
And it already takes in all the things. You're not doing any extra work other than having someone do outbound. You already have HubSpot. That does take some effort.
I wonder if one person can handle all of that initially.
Yes. Well, here's the great thing about the entire funnel. It's all automated except for the outbound DMs on LinkedIn, which can still be automated through AI.
But at some point, there has to be the human touch. Once you identify who's interested or who's clicked three
Not
times
with
or whatever.
Not with HubSpot. So let me help you with that. Every stage of
Yeah,
this
but if it's all
funnel-
automated and nobody's actually dipping in and saying, "Oh, Stephanie or whoever has engaged a few times," don't you want to jump in there and be like, "Hey, it's me. Let's talk. What do you got going on?"
So
Because it's got to be authentic
in
too.
HubSpot, there's going to be a pipeline is like a stage. Let's talk it super easy. It's like new lead, bid project, whatever. Pipeline's usually much more robust than that. Your CRM is not going to have just one pipeline.
Yeah.
You're going to have an unlimited pipelines.
Yeah.
Be like, these are people in franchising. These are people that build restaurants.
Right.
There's all kinds of different things. And every time they move into a new stage, the actual movement of them going from stage to stage can be automated based on
Right.
did they click 3 times? They automatically move. While they're moving through those pipelines, you or anyone on your staff is also going to be assigned a task. So Kate could just come into work one day and she just instantly gets a task or an email that says so-and-so, or just follow up with so-and-so. And
Yeah.
it'll just populate the script. And she could literally call him and be like, hey, Johnny, that's looking to build an Italian restaurant, like read the script. Like it's all automated.
Right.
Well, it's fully automated.
But humans are jumping in.
Humans are jumping in.
That's what I
once
meant.
The sales process comes about.
Right.
So once this funnel's built, the fantastic part about it is that all you need to do is be there for the beginning and the end.
Mm-hmm.
So whether it's you or someone else, you need someone doing the outbound and making content.
Yeah.
And then at the end, shaking hands and closing the deal. Because your estimator or whoever it is going to be making all that. And all the assets are pre-made, which is amazing because you'll find your churn rate like every 100 people that get the guy or turn to a client, whatever. But you make it once and it's there forever.
Yeah.
Dude, and you have so much more knowledge. You have a lot of knowledge, but you have so much more knowledge than you think you have. If you just sat down, you really could create pre-construction guidelines or checklists, and like someone that's never done a build out before is going to find that incredibly valuable.
Totally. You know, it's wild. That's one of the things I noticed when I first got into the coaching with the Bet David people. They just ask these like simple questions like, what do you spend most of your day doing? And I'm like, wow, I've never thought of that. And you start writing it down. I'm like, gosh, that's a lot.
It's
and
just
then
emails.
It's like, break this down. What can be automated? What can be delegated? And as they're just telling me, they're basically just saying, hey, what do you do? What do they do? How do you do this? How do you do that? And now I've just got pages and pages and pages. And I'm like, wow, I have a lot bouncing around up here.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool to see how much you do know when you start documenting it. And then you could replicate it.
Yep. And you need to put this out too, because get the information out of your head, because it could be used for a funnel. It could be used for training videos. You hire someone, you say, hey, just watch this private playlist on YouTube. It's just me saying stuff.
Yeah.
And then eventually you'll organize it and make it nice. But then to the customer that doesn't know that they're going to work with you 5 years down the road, it's just massive credibility.
Right.
They're like, wow, I never thought of that.
Yeah.
You could literally make a reel today. What do you do when there's a slab leak?
Right.
That easy.
Yep.
What do you do when your permits are delayed? How do you, like, there's so many things that you don't realize that other people are going to find credible.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's an everyday thing to me and it's not to them.
Have you ever had people maybe, I don't know, I'll ask you anyway. A lot of the people we work with are the same people.
Right.
And they're very knowledgeable people.
Oh, yeah.
I often get asked when we're onboarding someone if we have training materials to give them, because they're like, I'm interested, I want to learn. And I'm like, no, I don't. And I think you could just be like, oh, go check my YouTube out.
Right. Well, I do get asked a lot of the same questions in the beginning, and it's stuff to look out for. You know, what should I look out for when I'm signing this lease? Is there anything I can look at in this building? You
know, the other thing too, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Jeez.
Having all this info out there, you'll never have to hard close again. And like, what I mean by that is you're not going to have any more hard sales to close.
Right.
People, before they even talk to you, I do at least, I think everyone does, would have already watched tons of your YouTube videos or tons of your Instagram. They're already sold on you.
Right.
So by the time they're reaching out to you, they're like, they already want to do business with you.
What's wild is I'm kind of already there. I don't want to sound cocky at all. I really don't.
But it's just off reputation.
That's what I mean. So if that's in addition to just the reputation, and they could see that, I could see how it would be significantly.
It all
easier.
starts with you pick one of the three, or two of the three, or all three. Paid advertisements, make more content, do more outbound. Like every business boils
The
down to
content
that.
is the only part that I would need to put work into right now, which I could easily do that.
But it's evergreen, meaning you do it once and it's there forever.
Yeah.
And the great thing about content,
You think my face needs to lose weight first?
no. The great thing about content is you just get better and better and better. And it's hard to come up with the ideas in the beginning, but after you make your first 10 videos, the ideas just start flooding in.
Well, since the end of January, every night I've started rattling off things in Google Docs, and then I'll go back to them and tighten them up and refine them. So I've already begun that process. And in my internal manual for this team and culture and kind of what did I call it? There's like an order of operations from just meta person to it's a month later and they need some documentation. I've kind of already mapped all that out, and there's a ton of little subcategories in there that happen before you even begin the work.
Yeah.
All of those are what would be good in videos.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Dude, you know what Mario told me when I talked to him?
My man Friday? Mario?
Your man Mario. Great dude. What a guy.
He's awesome.
You know, when you talk to someone and just the way that they speak, you're like, wow, you're intelligent.
They've seen the light that you're looking for.
Yes.
And they're like, let me show you.
Just in the way he talked. He was in a rental car with his wife and all of his kids and with his AirPods on. And I could see his kids in the back, and he was just, what a guy, though. I'd love to talk to him more. And I actually appreciate what they told me about. They didn't literally say you're not quite there, but I was like, I would much rather be there and talk to you than talk to you right now.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to potentially one day rekindling that and reaching back out. But anyway, he talked to me about marketing, and he said how one of the pillars or large reasons why PBD's built everything he's done is content.
Yeah.
And he was like, did you know, he said Patrick one day just bought a camera and said, hey, let's start a YouTube channel. And Mario said his response was, okay, cool. I'll go get all the equipment. We'll start tomorrow. And then you probably have heard this a million times from them. He was like, at Valuetainment, tomorrow's a bad word. And he said, no, Mario, we're starting tonight. And he said how impactful that's been, just creating mass amounts of content. I challenge you. Gets me excited. We should do this. We just built a studio at our office that has just a simple backdrop, cameras, all the lighting, mics.
I built one in my office too.
Yeah. You should come film one long form, so just a few minutes.
Are you plug and play, ready to rip over there?
Yeah.
Okay, I could do that.
Dude, and Ralph chops it up so fast. You should come and record one long form thing a week, or just aim to record a 2-minute thing or 3 clips. It is so much easier than I thought once you get going. You just have so much value to offer to people. And if you have all this stored, it's that much easier for someone to go into HubSpot and you're like, build me the email journey. Like I said, that's a whole other conversation because that is a lot of work, but it's automated. Or put these on my website. You can do so much. I think both of us need to seriously recognize how important creating the content is.
Yeah. I've been thinking about that a lot. And it was like, I avoided it for a long time. Like, nobody wants to see me or hear from me.
But they do.
Yeah, and I'm wrong. I know.
They really do. And then we watch the videos back, and I'm like, man, I look fat. But they're not looking at that. They're taking the value in.
Well, I'm sure they are, but totally. No, I love it. I'll do it. I'll start coming up with some. Well, like I said, I have a lot, but I can look at it through the lens of this is going to be some content, a video, offer value to a certain target.
And picture this: you go to an event right now, like a networking event, a huge retreat in the franchise world or whatever. People have heard all these great things. You meet someone that's an A player in the industry, but they've never heard of you.
Right.
You shake hands, you have a good conversation, all these people in this space, dude, they're going to leave. They're going to find you on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
They're going to look you up. Right now you have anyway, they're going to go on your thing and be like, oh, he does a lot of work. That's it.
Yeah.
But if they go on, they go on your thing and they see a library of just quick things and just all this value. It's just such a game changer.
For sure. No, I agree. I'll do it.
And I think we commit as of today. We also need to lose 200 pounds collectively. But
yeah, we could do that at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of already started.
That's good.
Not kind of. I did. Vegas just threw a wrench in those gears.
Which
I planned for.
I'd hijacked a lot of that, but I felt really compelled to tell you because I really believe it's easier than you think. And the great thing about all of that is your offense is automated and you can still just focus on defense.
Well, here's what's exciting. I've never thought it was hard. I don't have all that info or I haven't put all the effort into what we just talked about, clearly. But I don't believe it's hard. I'm fully optimistic, and I'm positive I'm going to be where I want to be. It's just now I'm taking action and actually learning and taking all of the steps, not some of them. I've always been I don't want to say a shortcut guy, but a good analogy would be if I got a package from IKEA, I'm not reading the instructions. I know I can build it, and I do every single time. But that's not to say, so, maybe you get a desk and it says, this should take you about 2.5 hours. I go, A, I'm not reading that. B, I'm not using the tools that it gave me. C, I'll do it in an hour. That's all true, but I do mess a couple things up or go, you don't need that part and throw it away, whatever. So I was kind of right, but had I followed all the steps or at least just read the instructions first, I probably could have done it in 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, it absolutely
so I've always been,
makes sense.
I'll do it myself, and it's worked well. But imagine if I just ask for help or take all of the proper steps, which is why I signed up for the coaching.
Absolutely. And we talked about this multiple times. We're really good at spinning our wheels or going all in.
Yeah.
In potentially the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Because I would say you have to go in multiple directions to grow a successful business, and we just go so hard in some directions that it I
have an idea and I'm off.
And you're you're gonna end up successful anyway. But if it's hard to pull back.
You can be further.
Bounce time. Yeah. Anyway, you know what else we should do amongst doing all this? We're doing it right now, so I can help duplicate stuff over for you.
Yeah.
We should prop up that. That company, whatever we're gonna call it, that's that much more. So imagine all the.
I've already put a little bit of thought into that.
Yeah, imagine all the content we're creating each other for our separate stuff, and just put all that on that one too.
Yep. I don't think we announce that until it's a fully established thing.
Yeah, we'll set up a site.
Yeah.
Landing page, super easy, dude. It's. I feel like we're dumb not to.
We absolutely have to.
And I think we're in a position where it might be dangerous to say.
I wouldn't say any of it.
In terms of that, there's nothing to lose. All
of course.
The gain.
But you unveil a new idea when it's your idea has to be solid. There's got to be names, all the players, everything in place, because if it works and people start coming and you're not prepared, that's a problem.
Which is really cool because neither one of us have done a
group venture type of deal.
A second thing that we have so much knowledge getting into it. Both of us started businesses at zero and are growing the business at the pace of our knowledge. Our knowledge is up here. This is the first time you could start something where your knowledge actually outpaces it. Oh, yeah. So it could rapidly.
Yep.
Which is really exciting.
Very exciting. Yeah.
Let's talk about that off air. But it's Fifth Element, all of us could be in charge of running that. And I think my team can get all this propped up pretty quick.
Yeah.
So
that's a
powerful,
a no fail thing that's going to happen.
Because it's also something that could just sit there.
That's the exciting part about that whole business idea is it's not nearly as hands-on as yours or mine is to me or to you right now.
Yeah. And it's a great idea.
Also, we'll probably be wildly famous from this podcast.
I genuinely think we will. I think people are going to make clips about these first episodes and be like,
Look
wow.
how fat and
Look
stupid
how fat,
they were.
fat thing's the one I always think of. Look how fat they were. Look how long they've been doing it.
This will
Look how they
likely
grew
be
up.
the...
Look at the old studio. Look at old
Yeah.
BPM HQ1. Sorry, we're on HQ2.
Yeah, HQ2. Technically, it's 3 because my garage was 1.
That is
We had
true.
2 of these.
Technically, it's 4 because episode 1 was in your home office.
That's
and
right.
We didn't even have video.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
I don't even know what we talked about.
Yeah, I think this could be looked at down the road as the pinnacle of Ready, Fire, Aim.
Yes.
Because this is a fake it till you make it scenario right here.
Yeah. Everything is, though. You know?
But this was, I'd like to say, a rapidly fake it till you make it thing. It's like, hey, get the stuff, make it look real, build
Yeah.
a studio. It's got air conditioning.
Yeah.
Build a, whatever. Literally what we're sitting in right here is like,
Well, it's that
if
much.
we're going to go for it, let's just go for it.
And it's that much easier for someone to do business with us at B. And what I mean by that, business as in listen to us and watch us, because we're already at the standard. We're already at the quality. We're
Right.
so much higher quality than other people that start podcasts.
Yeah.
Most people start it with the audio's horrible. They don't even have whatever. So it's that much easier for people to consume our content already.
Because it looks good. Yeah.
And we've gotten that feedback.
What I hope for is that the content is either valuable or funny or, you know, that was one of the worries I had is we can make this look real. We have all the stuff and the things. But if what we're saying isn't good enough or funny enough or whichever angle it is that we're taking, it will quickly fizzle out. So now we really need to put the effort into, you know, whatever, whether it's entertainment or value.
Should we post this episode before the last one?
It doesn't
We'll talk
matter.
about it later.
I don't think any of it matters, but yeah.
I think it's a good one.
But listen, buddy, I got a 406. I got to jump.
All right. That was a good one.
We do have to make an appearance, though.
Let's commit content
Okay.
creation. It's already happening.
Health, too, dude.
Yes.
You need to change your ways.
I know. That was weird. Let's commit. Maybe we set a time every week that we go over there.
What if we do...
What if we
What if-
bundle this with that?
That's what I was just going to say. Sundays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sunday mornings are, I think you record there first and then
Oh.
come here. What do you think?
Uh-oh. Hold on. We better go.
Is BMP stock dropping actively?
No, but we've got
Okay.
important people 40 minutes ago.
What?
Yeah. We got to go.
Oh, she.
We got to go.
All right. Thank you guys for listening.
BMP Arm. What did you call it?
BMP Army.
Out.
Subscribe.
Thank you. Subscribe. Smash somebody's buttons.